If you're tired of living your life based on other people's opinions, I'm about to give you the secret that's going to set you free forever. If every single decision that you make is filtered through what other people will think about you, your life is going to be extremely exhausting because you're not living your life, you're living the life that is acceptable to society. That's insane. Like, if you actually think about it, it's fucking insane. Maybe you edit yourself constantly before speaking to make sure it sounds socially acceptable, or you avoid taking risks because failure might make you look stupid to everybody that you know, or you say yes to things that you hate or you don't want to do because you don't want to disappoint people. What happens when you're doing this is that you're choosing other people over yourself. And this is causing you to destroy the relationship that you have with yourself. Because the truth is, at the end of the day, you gotta choose yourself. That's the only way to build a life that you actually want. And when you're doing this people pleasing and caring about what other people think of you, you're draining your mental energy by constantly thinking about how other people will react or what other people are thinking. If we actually think about it for a second, other people's thoughts are just these like little thoughts going around, swirling around their head. That's all. What if somebody says an opinion about you out loud? Okay, so they tell another person this idea, this opinion, like we're freaking changing our life and the actions that we take based on these things that don't even fucking matter. So that's the logic behind it, but just knowing that isn't enough to actually stop caring about what other people think. So I want to explain 3 mental shifts that when you learn these 3 shifts, it makes it a lot easier to stop caring what other people think. And I'm saving number 3 for last because it's the number 1 thing that changes everything for my clients. Shift number 1 is understanding people are going to judge you anyways. Like, no matter what you do, there are going to be people that judge you. If you look at any fucking celebrity, Zendaya, people love her and people hate her just for being herself. Tom Holland, people love him and people hate him. So no matter what you do, there's going to be people that hate you. So you might as well just be yourself. Literally, no matter what you do, somebody is going to have an opinion about it. If you're successful, people are going to say that you're just showing off or you got lucky. If you play it safe, people are going to say that you're boring and you lack ambition. If you're authentic, people will say that you're weird or you're trying too hard. And if you conform, people will say you're fake and you have no personality. Like, people will fucking decide whatever the fuck that they want to decide, and what they're deciding is based on their experiences from their own life. See, everybody's coming with their own different perspective, and that perspective, their worldview, is based on the experiences that they've had. If somebody has had like a whole bunch of bad experiences with Hispanic people, they might come to the conclusion in their head that all Hispanic people or all Black people are like this, when in reality they're not. But they have that belief based on the experiences that they've had. You're people pleasing because you're trying to avoid this criticism and this judgment, but the truth is, people are gonna have whatever fucking opinion that they have anyways. It's literally impossible to avoid, so again, you might as well be yourself. People's opinions say more about them than they do about you. This is like so important to understand. And this ties into a little bit about what I was talking about before, how everybody has their own perspective and worldviews based on the experiences that they've had in their life and the conclusions that they've drawn about the world from those experiences. People's judgments reflects their own insecurities, their own experiences, and their own values, not the objective truth about you. When somebody's criticizing and judging you, they're really just projecting their own fears and limitations. Your actions itself are neutral. It's really the lens that people view them through that creates their opinion. And we know this is true because 2 people can have completely different opinions about the same thing. Let me actually give you an example of this. Let's say that you decide to finally quit your corporate job to start your own business. Now, Timmy over here, he's your brother. He says that you're super brave. You're really inspiring. And he wishes that he had your courage. Sally's your aunt. And Sally says that you're being irresponsible, you're being reckless, and you're throwing away your security. Now, you did the same action, you quit your job to start your business, but you got 2 different responses from 2 different people. They have different opinions on the same action because they're viewing your action through a different lens. And again, I want to continue saying this because it's so important. People's opinions are based on their worldview, and their worldview is based on what they took away from the experiences that they've been through in their life. And 2 people can have the same experiences, except they can come out of those experiences with completely different opinions based on those experiences. Your brother sees you quitting your job and, saying you're courageous and stuff like that. His reaction reveals that he values entrepreneurship and taking risks. Your aunt reveals that they value predictability and security over everything else. They might fear, uncertainty and change in their own life. Their criticism and judgment is coming from their own anxiety about risk in their own life, not your actual choice. So understanding this is going to help you to not take criticism personally. I mean, one of the biggest shifts that you can have in your life is to not take things personally. When people do things, don't take it personally. Because even if they're doing things out of malice, they're doing it because they're a broken human being. So a lot of your pain and suffering comes from taking things that people do personally. But nothing's personal, everything's just human. and we're all broken, breaking each other over and over and over again. But you just really want to realize that other people's opinions are more of their autobiography and less your report card. They're just reflections on their personal beliefs about the world. Nothing to do with you. Even if it's something like, your appearance, right? If somebody's judging your appearance, it's because they believe in order to be pretty, you need to meet these requirements. And these requirements might be conditioned into them by whatever the trends that celebrities are following, right? So they see celebrities following these trends, so then they believe being pretty means you're following these trends. And if you're not fitting those requirements, then you're not pretty. But it doesn't mean that you're not pretty. It just means that you're not following these trends that they believe mean that you're pretty. I mean, one thing that I've learned moving to Southeast Asia is that beauty trends are they change in different places of the world. In the US, one of the biggest trends is to have a fat ass, like Kim Kardashian and the Kardashians. But when I moved to Asia, I saw in Japan and South Korea, it's a really big trend to be skinny. I mean, it's kind of a trend in the US, but a lot of people don't have fat asses. They're just fucking skinny as fuck. Another thing that's a huge trend in Asia is to be super fucking pale. Versus in the US, people spend hundreds, thousands of dollars on self-tanning and going to tanning salons, right? So these trends change from different parts of the world. And so when you're actually able to break from these trends and actually build a relationship with yourself where you focus on what you think of yourself, not based on these subjective ideas and concepts that are being conditioned into you through social media, but really just focusing on what you believe about yourself, you're able to break free from fucking everybody else's opinions and just focus on what you believe about yourself. Stop trying to manage other people's reactions, because you need to understand that they're not really about you. They're about them and what they believe about the world. Here's an action step. When somebody criticizes you or judges you, or when you see yourself stopping yourself from doing an action because you're concerned about what other people's opinions of you are, ask yourself, if somebody actually was to judge you, what would that judgment say about them and their beliefs about the world? Understanding the spotlight effect. Now, if you've never heard of the spotlight effect, it's pretty simple. Research shows that people overestimate how much other people notice their behavior by 50%. The truth is that everybody is the main character in their life, right? You're the main character of your life. I'm the main character of my life. The world is really just revolving around you. Everything that happens, you relate to yourself and how it affects you. And this isn't egotistical. This is just the reality of how we live as human beings. So you're the main character of your life. I'm the main character of my life. So the reality is you're just a background character in somebody else's story, somebody else's life. People literally don't have the time to think about you 24/7. People are so focused on their problems, their goals, their insecurities, and their daily drama and conflicts. That embarrassing thing that you did at Sally's Diner 5 years ago, they probably forgot about it in 5 minutes. And the truth is, if they're still replaying it to make themselves feel better about them, why do you give a fuck about their opinion? Because that's low-key sad that they have to replay that to feel better about themselves. Think about it for another person. Let's say there's this guy and his name is Jimmy. 3 years ago, you were with Jimmy and Jimmy did something super embarrassing in a conversation 3 years ago. In the moment, it might have been awkward. But do you think about it 24/7? No. You probably thought about it once or twice in the past 3 years. And when you thought about it, it was just for a couple seconds, maybe 30 seconds, and then something else popped into your mind. I remember 3 years ago, I was trying to flirt with this girl, and I was so fucking embarrassed. I didn't know social dynamics, I didn't know social skills, and it was just really embarrassing. But that was 3 years ago, and you know what? She might have thought about it once or twice in the past 3 years, but even if she does, again, it's just a fleeting thought, because the thoughts are replaced by shit that actually matters in her life. Other people are way too obsessed with their own lives. Think about how free you could be if you could just stop giving a fuck about what other people think about you. It would change everything for you. Everything. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.